Hello everyone, I am back. This is Rex Red. We are back with another EZ3DTV tutorial. Today we are going to, this is the second tutorial that we have done today. This is one on Geografts. I figured since this is fresh in my mind that I will try and show you how to use Geografts, okay? Now, since this is on a DAS mail, I don't believe that we're going to have any kind of community issues with this. But we are dealing with the nipple area of a male. And this translates also to the DAS female as well. So if you have issues with the nipple on the Genesis 9 female, this has to do specifically with Genesis 8 and 9. Now, we have a figure in the scene. Okay, we're going to play this just a moment. This is our splash screen. And we are back. We are back. Angus, that was fast. All of a sudden I decided, oh, I think I'm ready to do this Geografts scene, this Geografts video, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to zoom in on this guy's, on his breast area, okay? And if you notice that there is no little bump here for his nipple, okay? And I believe there is sort of, it looks kind of like sort of some sort of thing here, but it really doesn't look like a formed belly button, okay? It looks like a, just kind of an indent there. That's not really what a belly button looks like, okay? So what do we do? How do we make this? The idea is to make our figure look very realistic. Now, when we put a DAS skin on him, okay, onto Genesis 9, this is our Genesis 9 figure again, people. Okay, when we put a skin on him, we will see that it takes a moment here, that what we're going to get is an image of a nipple, okay? It looks like a nipple, okay? It looks just exactly like one. But when you see when we turn sideways, it's not really there. There's nothing sticking off. It's just a picture of one, okay? There's no actual geometry where that thing is sticking off. There's just the image of one, okay? And sometimes that can look very obvious in a certain scene if they're right at the right angle, okay, where it just looks like a picture, okay? It doesn't look like it's an actual thing, okay? And I would assume with female characters, it's even much more noticeable, okay? So what do we do? Well, there is a product, and I'm not sure if this product, I don't really remember buying it, but maybe I did. It may be something that just comes with Genesis 9, or it may be something you have to buy, okay? But I have it here in my most used items, but I can show you where it lives also on the computer. Here they are. Okay, these are Geografts, Navel, Geograft nipples. Okay, so the navel would go here, okay? And the nipples would go there would be 2 geografts, one for each nipple. Now, why do we need geografts? Okay, well, because Daz Studio decided to not put this massive amount of geometry in here so that the nipples would, so that the figure, the Genesis 9 figure, could kind of stay light and not have this where all of a sudden, as you get closer to this area. Now, if you look at this, this is the geometry, the wireframe. As you can see, they didn't have to really make it any more like dense. Ah, you did make it, Paul. Welcome, 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 friend. Welcome. So this one is going to be for geometry on how to get an actual nipple and navel, okay, on your Genesis. We're going to work with the male figure, but it's the same for the female figure, okay? And as you can see, there's not much geometry here. There's not enough. Look how big the squares are. And you would need like a bunch of little tiny squares in order to make, you know, a little nipple stick out. Now, if we were to try to grab this with, you know, mesh grabber and just pull a piece out, it's not going to work. It's going to pull out this big chunk of geometry. It's not going to look like a nipple, okay? So I'm going to try not to use that word. It seems as though a lot of algorithms seem to find that word. So we're going to try to just not use it, okay? But this is what we're talking about here, is this area. And now if we turn this back on, you can see that there is an image of one, okay? But when you look at this sideways, there's just nothing sticking off, okay? And it took me the longest time to notice that about the Genesis 9 figure. And so then what I did was I thought, well, you can use morphs. And you can go into parameters and you can look up that N word. And I don't know if that's even worse, okay? But you can, and you'll find stuff in here that seems as though it's, you know, that you could just pull these out and they're going to give you a little kind of stick out, like the Genesis 8 figure, baby feeders. Yeah, that will work. So, yeah, that's a little bit more nature-oriented. So in Genesis 8, you had morphs that you could just, and you could literally indent this whole area and change it in a quite a spectacular way, I guess. So, but with Genesis 9, even if they made morphs, they wouldn't work because the geometry is just not there to make those kinds of changes, okay? So what that means is we need another solution. And this solution is, okay, if we go to our default products, you can search in your DAZ library. If you don't have it, then you got to buy it. So I'm going to look, oh, I always spell this wrong, Grafs, FTS, Geografts, okay, and we're going to look for Geografts, and it's not coming up, so what we'll do is we'll take this out of here, and we'll go into Files, Geografts, and there they are. When we type Geografts, okay, they show up in my file, and when I right-click and explore product, okay, this is geografting navel and nipples for Genesis 9, okay? So we go here, and we go geografting, G-E-O-G-R-A-F-T-I-N-G. Let's try that. Here it is, okay? Here is the product. It's $14.99 right now. And as you can see, what it does is it gives you just enough geometry to create a little bump there, okay? And just enough geometry to create something that looks more than just like a kind of really bad dent. It adds geometry into here, but it doesn't add it to the mesh. And we're going to see what this does. So what we'll do now is we have this product here, and this is a Genesis 8. We'll make sure we have the Genesis 9 male. Okay, we make sure we have them selected, and then we double click, and we get that, and we double click again, and we get that. Okay, now isn't that pretty? But when we turn him, look what we have now. We have some kind of a real kind of geometry there. Chest morph kit for Genesis 9. I use the SFD. Okay, there are other kits that are out there. Okay, so this is kind of new to me because it's not so evident with your Genesis male. Okay, it's not something that I really kind of noticed because the artwork is so well done, and all a male chest torso kind of needs is a tiny little bump there. Okay, a tiny little bump. We go here into our texture shaded, and all it needs is a tiny little bump there. It's not something that I really kind of noticed, but then I started looking at some of my scenes, and and something said, it needs that tiny little bump there to look right, to look right. Okay, so now what you do here is there's a little trick, okay, that you have to use. You have to take and go to this. You select the Geograft Navel and the other one, okay? You select them. You can select them both at the same time. Go to Surfaces, okay? And you want to look for PBR Skin, okay? You want to type in PBR Skin, and you will find this is part of the new DAZ. So everybody has it. Okay, it says PBR Skin Plus, but I believe that this is it, okay? So what you make sure that in your surfaces in the editor that you have both of these selected, okay? Then you put this on them, okay? And nothing happens. But what it did was when you go into the surfaces, it changed these. It should have changed these, and you have to make sure you have both the body and the Geograft selected. And once they're changed like that, then you can go back to Genesis 9 and go to the body here part, Genesis 9, go to Skin, okay, down to Skin and Surfaces, and we want to select the body part, and we want to right-click, copy the selected surface, okay? Then go back to your Geografts and select them, hold the Control key and select them, and we're going to paste to selected surface. So we just took this torso, all the skin parts and all the body parts and all of that, and we just pasted it onto both the navel. And now when we go to the navel, there's more than just a slit there. It's kind of like an impression now. See that? All right. And the same here. We have, but what it's done, okay, now I think I've gotten a hold of my figure here, is what it's given us, Control 9, and the texture blends seamlessly into the the figure, okay? So we have now that impression. All right, now what I'm going to show you is what happens when we start adding other geographs. Okay, what happens when we start, supposing I want to put body hair now on him, okay? So we'll select the Genesis 9 and we'll go to body hair. Which one is it? Body hair. And we're going to put some body hair on him. Okay? And well, it's still sticking it on, okay? But let's see what happens. And it works fine. Okay? That works fine. The body hair goes on well, and the geografts are still there doing their thing. We still have a little bit of an impression there coming out, or yeah, and so that's fine. Now, what about blush? Okay, now I want to put some blush on him, and this is a Geoshell that fits on his head. Okay, so we're going to go to our, it's called blush, I believe. Go to here. Yes, it is, and this is for Genesis 9. And what we're going to do is we're going to take and zoom out a little bit, and we're going to put this Geoshell blush, because his cheeks just look like they're all blah, kind of one color. All right, so we're going to apply the Geoshell. And look what happens. Okay, so, and that's because the Geoshell goes all the way down through his neck into his upper body. Okay, and as you can see that Geoshell there, all right, I don't know how to fix this. And I use blush a lot. Just a moment. I use blush a ton. Now you'd think you just, well, select these and reapply the Geoshell, reapply the textures. It doesn't work. Okay, so I'm not sure what's up with that, but we need some help with this, okay? We need to fix this somehow. So that's one issue. So we're going to undo that. All right. So the Geoshell, the blush effect Geoshell for Genesis 9 is incompatible with the navel and the breast augmentation solution that I have in particular. Okay, so then let's say, okay, well, what I want to do is, it's called detailer. Okay, I want to do a skin detailer. Okay, and what this does is it just gives him little kind of blemishes on his skin, so his skin doesn't look like absolutely perfect. Like, give him, like, he's got a few freckles, a few little marks here. Let's give him some more, okay? Just because it makes his skin look a little ruddier, a little more less perfect, okay? This is our skin detailer. I use this a lot. What happens when you use it? Now it's applying it. It takes a moment, because I believe these are layers. Yeah, these are layers, okay, that go on his skin. And in a moment, there we go. Now you see he's got some little His skin isn't quite so perfect, but from a distance, it makes him look a little bit more ruddy. Okay? And I think that's kind of cool. And I use this a lot. This has a Photoshop plugin that is amazing, okay? And now you can go into these and you can lower, you can edit them a little bit. The Photoshop plugin is amazing. It brings your skin in and you can literally, you have all these class categories. Like moles and warts and freckles, and you can adjust where you want them, how many you want, and every single thing is a completely different layer. And then it bakes it down and puts it on the skin, and you bring it back into DAZ. So you can create your own, but it has these presets that are just already made. And I've just found this preset 1 seems to work in every situation. Now we go into his face here, and you can see where his face has this. Now, if I undo this, Z, see that is just too clean and too perfect. And go redo. And see, it just gives him that a little bit of ruddiness. Now, if you're going to be really up close, this might be a little too much, okay, for the figure. It'd kind of be nice if this was a bodysuit so that we could go in and just all at once edit the opacity and things like that. But you can go in piece by piece and edit it in your geometry, in your layered image editor. Okay, just lower the opacity of these layers, and you lower them all to the same degree so you don't end up with any seams. Okay, so we're going to undo this, and then we're going to try another thing here, and that is the dirt. We're going to put some dirt on him. Okay, so dirt. Here's another thing I use a lot. So the only thing that doesn't seem to be compatible with this, and this is the this one, this dirt, so far is the blush one. Okay. And there's a really nice Genesis 8 blush, and it works with the Genesis 8 product works with layers instead of a Geoshell. But the layers don't align properly with the Genesis 9 maps. Okay, so they came out with a wonderful product that has a Geoshell, and it works flawlessly until this. Okay, until then. So now what we're going to do is go into here. We're going to put apply. Okay, we're going to apply this wearable. What happens? And look at that. Okay. Now it looks like it went everywhere except the torso. So I don't think this works with this either. Okay, let's see. Okay, let's go to the node. Okay, this is the decal node. And then we go to shaders. See, it seems to be working from the neck down to about here. And it's probably working on the legs as well. Now there is the dirty shell. Let's see. Let's try this. We might be able to just put it on as if he's a complete. Okay, apply. Now this particular product works on like anything, like a barn or a house or you know, anything. You can put dirt on anything. I think it's still thinking, yeah. Accept. And what have we got? It looks like we've got something showing up here that shouldn't be. Okay, but let's see. Now you see this worked. Okay, because I'm not sure, but I think these might be layers. But so this you can apply to anything. Select any figure, okay, outfit or object, and double-click this file. Okay, so I guess this is the way to do it. So now that we have this dirty geometry shell, we can go into the shaders. We can change it to different patterns, different colors. Okay. And it appears as though, okay, it appears as though it's working with his, now I think it's put dirt on his hair, which is okay. I guess you wouldn't get dirty without your hair getting dirty, but okay. And when we get up close, we can see that our geografts are still kind of doing their stick out thing. So that is going to do it. At this point, I need to put some kind of thing out that I need another blush product for Genesis 9. Okay, because if I search for blush, because I would need a layered blush, okay? See, this is layered. It says layered, but I don't know if I believe this. Okay, Calliope blush. This says material, but this says layered. Okay, stubble. Okay, that's stubble. But this is makeup, lime makeup blush. Okay, let's get a little closer to his face. And, well, that's really close. Let's see what happens. This could be our solution for blush. And this would be for info. This is Genesis 9. Okay, let's see what we got. This should take a moment to go on. It says layered, so it shouldn't change his skin color. And look at that. And that's really, and then the way you fix this, now let's go down and look and see, make sure that it didn't change. See, it didn't change this now. Okay, so we do have a product, a workaround product. This is the Explore product. I just bought this, I believe, recently, very recently. But this gives us our blush. Now, this might be too much blush. It is for me. So, and it looks like it does go across the nose. It kind of disappears a little bit here and goes here and there. That's okay. But it's a little too much. Now, it should only be on the face. So we go to our surfaces and we go to our head. And we go up here. And you can see there's blush there and there's blush there. So it's putting blush on both the base and the translucency maps. So we're going to go to the base first, select here, go to our image editor. All right. And you see the makeup blush. Okay, so we're going to just bring this down a little bit. We just don't want his face one orange color, like all the same orange. We just want a little bit of color there, okay? But because it's using a little bit of this map and a little bit of that other map to make what we see, we have to bring it down on both maps. So we go here now, we go to the layered image editor. And you see the anneal makeup blush. And that's all the way up. We're going to bring that down so it's just visible. A little bit more. We just want a tiny bit. Just enough to give his face some color other than like orange. Okay, kind of. Accept. Let's see what we've got. Please don't crash. All right. See, now he's got a little, just a tiny bit of red there. See? And on his nose. See, it gives him just, from a good distance, he's got color in his face. Okay? He's not like one color. All right? And he's got dirt. He's got nipples. He's got a navel. He's got hair. He's got all the things that that kind of dress him up and make him look. And he's got skin detail, or did I take that off? Let's see what happens when we put the skin detail back on with the blush. Okay? See, all of these have to work together. Skin detailer. Okay, we got to go X, V. Here it is, skin detailer, Genesis 9 skin detailer. And we'll put her back on him. And make sure that that doesn't get rid of our blush. It shouldn't. Okay, it's just going to add another layer. Okay, a transparent layer. I would think that it has that you have to decide whether if you want the blush on top of your skin detail or under. So you want to put them on in the right order. Okay? Keep that in mind. This should be a moment. And then, so the layers seem to work flawlessly. Okay, there's our skin detailer with our blush. And let's go and double check and make sure. So we go to surfaces, head. Then we go here. Now we should have 3 images, 3 layers. Yeah, so we have the now the blush, and we have his head map, and then we have this setup 1, which is our setup 1, which would be, we can cancel out of it. Now this is where we could bring that down, but we would have to bring it up down here. Is that setup also on our translucency map as well? Yes. So we would have to bring it down. So if we bring them both down to say 50%. Okay. Accept. Now we would have to do this on the arms. We'd have to do it on the body and on the legs. Okay, so we brought that down 50%. Then we come here to the face. To the base color. We did it on the translucency. Setup. We go here, 50. Enter. All right, that brought that skin detail down there. So we may not just want, You know, we want his skin to look a little bit ruddy, but not that ruddy. Okay, takes it down on his face. All right, but can we see lines now? Or is it kind of, see, I don't see a neckline or any kind of, we could leave it up on his body, but I don't see an incredibly visible line. Maybe a little bit here. No, it doesn't seem to be. Now, under the right light, excuse me, under the right light, a line could appear. But for now, I don't seem to see a line here. That's where the body comes with the arms. So this looks pretty good. Now is obviously, this is the old Genesis hair, but so this, you just basically repeat this process for the Genesis 9 female. Now we could also go into this Geograft and we go into parameters, and there may actually be some morphs with it. Okay, nipples on, nipples length, nipples height. Okay, so there would be, okay, let's go into, so there are some nipples height. Okay, those don't seem to work. Nipples length. Okay, that did. All right, that seemed to make it a little bit nipples on, and that's nipples off. Okay, and we have nipple size. So it does give you a little bit of kind of editing kind of ability. Now probably we have the same thing for the navel. Let's see. And what happens here? We have navel depth, so we can bring that in more. Navel height. Okay, and move up or down. That's kind of weird that you can move it a little bit around. And we have the navel width. Okay, so just and those are not things to have them right on our Genesis 8 figures, because they just, the concentric geometry got more dense as it went into this area. And the same here, it just got dense enough so that you could do the same thing right on the figure. But what this is a geograft. These are like little patches that go on that graft, and they're just one little hair above the skin layer. And they graft right perfectly in. And they contain the extra geometry. Because, like, if he's wearing a shirt and he's in a game and he's running through a forest or something, he doesn't have to have nipples, okay? He doesn't have to have a navel. And it's better to not have all that dense geometry right embedded deep within the figure. It's better to only put them on if he's going to be lounging out in the sun, you know, on a lawn chair or something with no shirt on, okay? Then what you do is you apply these graphs. And don't forget the part of putting the PBR texture onto these before the PBR Uber-based PBR shader onto each of these before you copy and paste your torso shader onto these graphs. So I am losing my voice, and it's not because I'm talking too much. It's just I'm a little bit croupy. I've got, like, I don't know, it was from leftover from dinner. I get croupy after I eat sometimes, and so okay. So I may be back again tonight with another tutorial. I am planning on working with with some clouds, so that you can actually have a complete sky of clouds, all with VDB clouds. It's like massive clouds, and so the last cloud thing I did, I used layers. I used transparency layers. And that's a nice way to make clouds also, okay? But this is where we're going to use actual VDB clouds. And then I'm going to, probably in the same video, I'm going to show you how to organize all your cloud assets and show you some tips on how to organize and customize your cloud assets. And so we will talk about that. It might be tonight. I have to wait until my voice simmers down. So, all right, I will talk with you soon. We can watch this real quickly. Art. Well, it's going to be on. I was wondering why we missed you too. So, it's very nice that you caught the last of this. I may be on in an hour. I have to wait until my lungs clear up. Okay, so it's not my throat; it's my lungs. They're just a little bit croupy right now. It's because I had dinner. I had turkey soup, and it makes me tired. And it can make me croupy too. So, all right. So we will. I think I have one more video. I have to make a preview for it. So yes, Angus, it does go by so fast. So this has been another hour-long video on how to. This is how you make nipples and navels with Geografts, okay? So make sure you watch it from the beginning, and then if you need your shirtless male, and I think I made his nipples a little bit too exaggerated there, but if you need your figure to have that little tiny extra bit of realism, people are going to look at your figure and they're going to say, oh, but they didn't do the graphs, you know? Good artists are going to look at your figure, and they're going to be able to tell because you can see that sticks off there. You can see that they actually have some 3D to them, and they're not just flat things with pictures on them. So, yes, well, I will probably be back with another tutorial. We'll see. I might rest, and it may end up be somewhere. It might be Paul will be up, but the rest of everybody else might be asleep by the time I do the last tutorial of this day. And that one will be regarding clouds, okay? VDB clouds, and like full clouds, not just one cloud. We're talking about cloud arrays. So, all right, very good. We will see you all soon. Take care, and thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, click the bell for notifications. I will see you in the next EZ3DTV tutorial. This is Rex Red saying goodbye for now. Yeah, Paul might be up. Paul will be up probably for the last tutorial today. So stay tuned. Okay, have a great night. Bye-bye, people.